Hello and welcome. Thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And I want to thank all you subscribers and people who comment. It gives me the motivation to make more videos. Today I want to talk about something that is kind of personal to me because it's about addiction and drugs. And some subscribers have brought up the subject, and maybe that's a little bit of their intuition, because I've been planning this subject for a while, and right before I film it, a subscriber asked me a question about it. Synchronicity, I guess. But anyway, I've had 3 people in my life that were close to me. One that was very close to me die. Another was an extended family member, and another was a friend of overdoses from drug addiction. Maybe not intentionally. None of them were suicide, that they tried to kill themselves that way that I know of. It doesn't seem that way. It seems like at least 2 of them, they were clean for a long time, and then decided to fall off the wagon for, one night. And that is the most dangerous time, because their body isn't used to it. They've been away from it for a while, and then they think they can do the kind of drugs that they were doing before, and their body can't take it. But I've also, a little bit about me, I've also worked with addicts because I understand the mentality that it takes to be one. I've done my share in the past. I was never addicted to anything, but I've tried a little bit of everything growing up in the 80s. And, so when I see someone I can help, I try. And I have taken people into my home who have been homeless heroin addicts and helped them. But they help themselves too. And I've also, there are some people that can't be helped because of the mindset that they have, because that gets into this video now about drugs and addiction and what is it. It's a big problem, and the answer to the problem is in our minds. People take drugs because they are suffering, because there is a problem in their life, because being straight isn't good enough. They need something more than this straight stuff. Being straight should be the most wonderful, beautiful experience you can ever have in your life. But it's not to some. And they fall to drugs to change that. So let's discuss what a drug is. This is one of the biggest confusions, because people think of drugs, they think of heroin, cocaine, and that evil cannabis. Coffee is a drug. You can be addicted to it. Food is a drug. You can be addicted to it. And that is one of the most dangerous food addictions that you can have. It's killing you. Heroin addiction. Yes, that's a drug. Cigarettes. Now, people think food's not a drug. A drug is something that changes your current state. That you take it to change your current state. You put it in your mouth, you put it on your arm, you sniff it up your nose, you stick it in your ear, however you want to take it. A drug can be taken many different ways, and it's all done to change your current state. Therefore, water can be a drug, because if you're thirsty to change your current state, you drink water. You drink too much of it and you'll die. Manly P. Hall, I just posted a video about Manly P. Hall, and one of his quotes, great quotes, is, moderation is the key to survival. If you're overdoing one thing, then there's a problem here. And that's what we have to address. The most hypocritical thing I see is people sipping their wine and then pointing fingers at people that smoke cannabis. Like they're doing something wrong. And the fact that cannabis, a plant that has been used spiritually to help open the minds of people and artists and musicians, is being condemned like it's the devil's weed. It's ridiculous. Marijuana is harmless. It's never killed anyone, not a single person. You can't overdose on marijuana. But you can on alcohol, and alcohol is a very dangerous drug. And people sit there and drink it but point their fingers at other people because nobody wants to admit the drugs that they do are bad. It's only the drugs other people do. It's part of the sickness in society of not being aware or conscious of the world around you or yourself or how you think and how you became who you are. And that is the answer to addiction, is understanding who you are and how you became the person you are that needs these drugs because you don't like the straight stuff. Why do so many people get clean off of addictions to various drugs and opioids and then go back? Because the problem is not the drug. You're not fixing the problem. People are so busy looking at the drug as the problem, and it's not. It's in your mind, and until you fix your mind, then you will fix the problem. When you fix your mind. And there is a reason why a lot of these 12-step programs that help, and Alcoholics Anonymous and some others, will turn to spiritual and religious methods to do it, is because that's the way. Now, I'm not talking about believing in imaginary men in the sky and all some of the stupid things that people take for religion. No. I'm talking about learning about yourself. Let's not forget about what Jesus really said. Not what people have turned it into. Like, you know, if Jesus even existed. People talk as if they know he existed, and there's no proof, none anywhere. None. Zero proof. But maybe he did. It's irrelevant, because the message of this character of Jesus in the story is trying to tell you something profound about yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to pass this message, the same message as Jesus was teaching, on to you, on to people, on to drug addicts, on to anybody that wants to listen, because it's important. Jesus had a message, and so did all the others, Muhammad, Buddha. The message is all the same. They're not different. And people who think they're different are confused. Those are the people that are praying to an imaginary being in the sky to save them, when the person and the thing and the God that will save you is in you, in your sacred heart and in your mind. It's so powerful you can change your reality, change your emotions at a snap of a finger, overnight. But people don't see it. They keep looking for something outside of themselves to help them. And as long as you do that, you're going to suffer. Because you're not living in balance with nature. You're living a lie. And what is this thing that is going on in the minds of addicts? I got to make this quick because my battery only lasts so long, and wasting time talking about that don't help. So, how to help? Here's a story. Back when people were in Vietnam, we were having the Vietnam War, there were drug addicts, was rampant over there. It was easily accessible, and there was an army full of American, thousands of addicts. They were addicted. And the army knew it, and they were concerned. I mean, they let them do what they had to do to get through the day. But when it was time to go home, when the war was over, they were concerned that we're going to be sending all these addicts back home to their family. But it didn't happen. They stopped. Cold turkey. Hardcore addicts who'd been addicted for years. Or at least a year. However their length they were there doing it. And they stopped. Because of the connection and the change in everything around them changed. And they didn't focus on the withdrawals and any of those effects. They focused on what they had. They were appreciative. They were grateful they weren't going to be dead. They were happy to be alive and going back to see their families. They didn't care about heroin anymore. When life sucks, you need the heroin. When you realize life doesn't suck, and it's beautiful, and it's an amazing thing that's happening every day that you created in your mind. When you realize the mind-blowing reality of what's actually going on, you're not going to want drugs anymore. You're going to live your life, and yeah, you may have a beer, you may smoke a joint, but you're not going to be dependent on them. You're not going to do things in over-moderation. You're not going to eat yourself to the point where you're unhealthy. And the way through that is learning about yourself and spirituality and illumination and the occult, hidden knowledge of what these religions were all trying to teach from the beginning, not what they've turned into. They've turned into hate groups, some of them, not all of them. The trick is to know the difference. And the difference is simple. Selfishness is evil. Everything that you do that is selfish is evil. And sharing gratefulness and is good. God, good and God are one together. Doing good things changes your mind to see who you really are. Selfishness and evil is the ego. You think you're the ego, this self, this thing you imagine you are, but you're not. Now, you may not believe me, and that's the problem. People don't when they're told that. But when you come to the reality and realize it's true, this thing I think is me is not me. I'm something more than that. I'm a God who can create and change my reality at the snap of the finger. The power you have is so big, and people don't even know it. They're blind to it. They see right through it. They're distracted by all the flashing lights and the signs. But it's real. And that's how you change an addict. You show them reality. And there are ways to do that using drugs. Psychedelic drugs like ayahuasca, magic mushrooms, these can open up your mind for you to examine parts of your mind you didn't even know existed. Parts of consciousness and awareness that people don't even go into those parts of their minds. There is a spiritual world that exists at the same time as the material world, and some of these drugs can help you take a peek at it. Therefore, they can help you with addiction because they can help you to see reality and break out of the illusion that 90% of the world lives in. This illusion that Jesus and Muhammad and all these Buddha and all these others were trying to teach you and tell you that it exists. Don't look at it. Don't pay attention to it. Look at yourself. Look within. Look at your mind. People don't care. They pray to imaginary things in the sky to help them, when everything you need is right in here and right in here. You can think with your heart. You know you can. You can feel it. The heart is like a mind, and so is the brain. It works together. Unfortunately, a lot of people are just working with this and they're not using this. I think that's all I want to get into. I think that pretty much sums it all up. It gives you something to think about. If you have questions, put them in the description box. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And I really appreciate all the subscribers out there. Every one of them is important to me, because you're all important. I'm no better than anybody. I'm above no one. I'm below no one. We're all here just trying to enjoy the ride. So enjoy the ride. You have a great day.